Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Real Estate Talk with Lorretta. My name is Lorretta, and today we're going to be discussing property investment. And whenever we're talking property investment in Johannesburg, South Africa, you can never actually miss the gentlemen that I'm going to be speaking to. Their names are Lebo and Neo from Nong Wealth. Got that right. How are you guys? And welcome.
Hi there, Lorretta, and hi to all of the viewers. So my name is Neo. My name is Lebu, rather. My name is Lebu, and then this is my older brother Neo. I thought it was only my grandmother who confuses it. So it's clearly it's rubbing off.
He's also confused. He's confused. He doesn't know his name.
Yes. No, it's we're quite happy to be, and we know that we're gonna have a lot of fun.
Awesome. We're happy to have you. Okay, so we're going to jump right into the questions, right? So what is property investment, guys?
Like, I'm so excited that you asked that question because a lot of people have a misconception, or how Lebu would say, demystify property investing. Property investing is not another job. So what I'm trying to say is that with property investing, it's not that I can leave my job right now and get into property investing, become a millionaire tomorrow, and then start posting on Instagram that life is good. Property investing, like, you need to understand the dynamics that comes with property investing. It's more of a process. It's more of how I build my cash flow to get to that desired goal that I want to get into. So it's more of building something quite solid and sustainably. That's what property investing is for me.
Sure.
I don't know for you.
Then for me, property investing is more of a vehicle that allows you to actually live the lifestyle that you would actually like to live. So now what I mean by this is that when I'm in a position whereby I have financial freedom and I don't really need to worry about my bills every month, I then can actually go out and get what I really need to get in life. So now this is going back to the when you get to a point whereby you are actually financially free, you are now able to see that, okay, do I really need the job that I'm in right now? Or can I be doing something that I'm feeling in terms of me being happy as an individual? So that's what property investing is for me.
Okay, awesome. You mentioned that it's a journey and it's a process. So how does one get to start? How do I start?
With property investing, I mean, there's two ways to actually participate. It's either through cash or credit. And now once you start understanding those are the two ways of participating in property investing, that's when you can position yourself. Because at the end of the day, some of us are not that fortunate. I don't know whether it's fortunate or not fortunate that our parents didn't have that extra amount to say, guys, just go live your life. Here's the extra, go invest and do whatever you like. Because now you need to understand, once you only have credit, that's when you need to position yourself, how the bank will see you as an applicant. And now once you start understanding what the bank requires from you as an individual, that's when you can get everything intact so that you can start with your property journey.
So I'm a book type of person, right? So I read books. So my thing about property investing is that if I am actually going to be investing in property, I need to know the rules of the game. It's like playing Monopoly with someone that is an expert in Monopoly, and now you don't even know the rules of Monopoly. Basically means that you're going to get beaten around. So now if you are actually going to be going into property investing, make sure that you know what to actually look out for before you actually buy that particular property. So now the main important question is that what makes a right property an investable property?
Okay, awesome. It's interesting that you just mentioned that it's a game. So obviously in any game, there should be strategies. So what are the different strategies that were pertaining to property investment?
Okay, so now with the different strategies, and there are countless strategies. So now they are buy to flip. So flipping basically means that I'm going to resell it to actually get a profit. There's also buying to rent it out, right? There's also your deal sourcing. There's also your wholesaling. So there's a lot of strategies that are actually involved in property investing. So now what's really important is for you to actually get someone who's actually doing that particular strategy that you're looking at. So now let's look at deal source. That's the one that's actually advertised that you don't really need to have money to actually invest in property. something that you need to understand about deal sourcing is you are not a property investor. You basically looked for another job, being a self-employed. You're basically self-employed because now what you're basically doing is that you're getting deals that are off market and you're reselling them back to the investors. So now the problem with that is that a lot of people advertise that as investing. Investing basically means that I'm actually taking money from my pocket and putting it into a particular property to actually grow my cash flow, or I'm using my cash flow. So now if I'm actually going around and selling these deals and not really investing it, it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm a property investor. I'm actually a deal sourcer.
Yeah. I mean, for me, very, very valid question, Lorretta, with regards to what is the strategies. A lot of people find themselves in a strategy not understanding what rules are there in that strategy. Let me give you an example. Development. Somebody will be, guys, I just want to buy land and then build on top of it without understanding what are the rules that come with development. You can overcapitalize with development, and then you find yourself in trouble. So even with the stressed buying, you need to understand what is the difference between buying your normal development versus your distressed buying. Because as much as everybody's saying buy low and sell high, they're not speaking what's happening in between. There's a whole lot of stress. So it goes back to what rules are, understanding the strategy that you're busy with.
Okay, awesome. So understanding the current economic climate that we're in, what strategy would you actually recommend to a first-time buyer or someone who's trying to get into property investment?
Okay, so now looking at that particular question, right, for me is that there'll always be deals in the property market, right? Be it that in a crisis or be it that we are in good times, right? There'll always be a deal for you to be in the market. So now, before you actually start investing in property, you need to firstly understand that why am I actually investing in property? Am I investing in property for capital gains to get money, or am I going into property investing for actually renting out? So now we hear a lot of people are actually crying in the market and saying that with their properties, their rented out properties, they actually had a lot of problems. So now they needed to sell. Some of them are saying that they needed to decrease their prices. I mean, that might be true, but now there's also some property investors, right, that go into that property during these tough times and are actually increasing their property rental, their rental property. So now that's something to actually consider, that who are you actually listening to? Are you listening to the people that are having it bad, or are you listening to the people that are having it good? Because now, trust me, right now, there's people that are having it good and there are people that are having it bad.
Okay. Okay, so would you actually recommend for a person to buy property right now?
Yes, like we'd do it any day, whether it's last year, next year. That's the thing about it. Goes back to understanding the rules of the game. If you get to understand, even when people are crying, some people are crying that it's tough times and all of that. And then if you have and you know your rules, then you'll understand that why are you buying at this time at this price. So it goes back to it's a game. It's a game. It's monopoly.
Yeah. Okay, so to those who don't know, so ordinarily we know that normally most people, they don't just have cash lying around. So you have to go to the bank and then apply for a home loan. So besides going to the bank to ask for financial assistance, what other avenues can people actually explore for them to get financial assistance?
Guys, can I be practical about this, right? A lot of people would say that joint venture, I can ask Lebo for money. I want us to actually be practical about what does joint venture really mean. So the practicality of joint venture, like, hey man, you know what? The bank couldn't borrow me. Already he's thinking, let's be practical about this. How am I going to register the property itself that I'll be buying? Is it going to be under my, or is it going to be under him? Because if I'm going to be asking him for $1 million and then the property is going to be registered under me, and that time he doesn't even know who I am. I just went, even if I'm his brother, and it's the first time he's speaking about property investing. He's going to say that, why should I even give you that money? let's just say I managed to convince him for him to give me that 1 million. How am I going to repay him? If the rental that I'm getting from the property itself is, let's just say 10,000, and then we subtract all our expenses. So let's just say there's levies for 1,000, and then there's rates and taxes for 1.5, and then there's also insurance. Let's say all our expenses went down to, it took our net to 7,000. So now that means paying him. And most of the time, joint venture, they don't speak about paying yourself. So of course, if you're going into a joint venture partnership, you want to pay yourself, right? So from the 7,000, how much will I pay him and how much will I keep for myself? Starting there, 1 million from him. So the less I give him, let's just say I want to be greedy about the situation and I want it to be 50-50. So that would be about, I can't make a mistake, 3.5. 3.5. So 1 million divided by 3. I'm just quickly reaching for my calculator. There we go. Okay. 1 million divided by 3.5 thousand. That's 286 transactions that I need to pay him. If I want to, how many years will that be? That's 23 years.
Yeah.
So you get to, and without, we haven't even spoken about profit, right? The profit that I must have enticed him with in terms of encouraging him to buy this property. So you really need to be practical about where can you get money and look for the best option. Hence, for us, it's the bank, because you know that banks are proper running businesses and you're not actually at a discomfort in terms of I need to pay him back and I'm not going to be getting X amount.
Sure. So now let's not completely rub out the joint venture, right?
Yeah.
Because now some people do actually get money through joint venture. What I would actually like to emphasize is that if you are going to be asking for money from someone, make sure that you know what you're doing, right? So now I would advise someone that's actually going at it for the first time to actually go and ask for money. Because now if it does happen that you do buy that property and it does not cash flow positive and you already took someone's 100,000 and you still need to put in 1,500 on a monthly basis on that particular property, now it's on your side. So now make sure that if you are actually going to be asking for money from people, you actually know what you have actually put yourself into. Because now if someone was to ask me that, please borrow me 100,000, the first question is that how many transactions have you done? Because I'm not going to gamble. Definitely sure I'm not going to be gambling with my money. So the first thing that I want to know from that person is that how much have you actually invested of your money into a particular property? Because I don't really want. So I want to make sure that if I'm going to be putting 100,000 with you, I know that I'm going to get that out.
Okay. Awesome. I think that actually, if anyone was watching this, if you're not yet in property, but you're interested in getting into property investment, you've actually learned quite a lot, really. So do you guys have any more tips that you can give to anyone who's watching and who's interested in getting into property investment?
Yes, guys. I'd say that know your story, because especially other people's money and then you don't know your story, you find yourself now, people will be thinking that you scammed them, whereas you didn't scam them. You took them, put it in the property. However, you're not getting the desired results that you thought you might get. So it goes back to that you need to know the rules of the game.
Just learn the game and expand your network. So now your network is actually what's going to make you pull through. If I'm in a position whereby I need to actually be selling a property, I know that there is a conveyancer that I can actually rely on. Because now, if you're going at it alone, it's going to be a lot of heartache, because now there's a lot of people that are actually out there to scam people, right? You might find this person is presenting themselves as a lawyer, however, they're not actually ready. And now remember, the lawyer is the first point of reference whereby you are the one that's going to be taking the 80,000 to put down as the transfer costs. And if that lawyer is registered, that means that you can say bye-bye to your 80,000. So make sure that you're just building your power team and your network.